What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some advice that all wide receivers need to hear when it comes to route running, how you guys can improve your hands, and how you guys can be able to read defenses, read DBs, and know how to run your route. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it teaches you a few new things. But also, fellas, we have one more quarterback and wide receiver training camp that we are hosting this offseason. We are coming out to Los Angeles, California on July 30th and 31st for our last quarterback and wide receiver camp. We only have about 2 more spots left for this camp, fellas. So if you guys want some more information on that, you're local to the area and would like to travel out, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to this camp. We really appreciate the support. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first on this route. This to the untrained eye. We're going to talk a little bit about getting skinny. To the untrained eye, this looks like a missed throw. Oh, Odell was open. He had him beat by a couple of steps, and the quarterback just missed this throw and put it too far outside. Now, we're going to talk about how you guys can kind of help your quarterback out a little bit, because trust me, this is a very, very, very tough throw for him. So when you guys come off the line, what is this DB's leverage? Obviously, it's Darrelle Revis. Obviously, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest DB of all time. He's inside leverage, right? So he's trying to prevent the inside route. So when I have inside leverage and I got to run this outside breaking route, like a fade, I would consider a fade outside breaking or an out route or something. I need some space for that quarterback to be able to throw me open. I can't just hug the sideline the whole time. So when Odell comes off the line of scrimmage here, this is just as much on him, I believe, than it is on the quarterback. Because when he comes off the line, this is a mistake a lot of wide receivers make. They got this inside shade look, and they think that they could just run around this guy. But that is exactly what this DB wants you to do. When he's lined up inside shade, his goal is to take away the inside. He wants to force you outside. He wants to force you to that sideline. Because that sideline is like an extra defender on that field. Now, when he comes off the line, Odell's obviously quicker than him. Odell's faster. Odell beats him by a step, but you see what Revis is doing. He's getting right into his hip. He's checking him, and he's working him all the way to that sideline. So now the QB has no space to fade. It is very, very tough to throw a fade route when you don't give the quarterback any space to fade you open. Now, again, he's an NFL quarterback. He probably could make this throw. He probably wishes he could have this throw back. But if you're in high school, your quarterbacks ain't going to be making this throw. That is a very, very tough throw on them, and they're probably going to underthrow it because they're trying to be so precise with the ball. So, fellas, we have to understand spacing. We have to understand how to get skinny on a route. So what I mean by getting skinny, and I'm going to show a good example of this here in a second, is when you got this DB, let's close the gap with him. Let's try to make him uncomfortable. Let's step on his toes. I don't even care if he tries to get hands, because if he gets hands, we could just swat the hands, combat the hands. But let's close the distance with him. Because if I can close the distance with him, and maybe I threaten his leverage inside, I fake him to the inside, he will move, but also when he moves, I have an opportunity to go hip to hip with him. I'm able to get back over the top, restack, get skinny. Don't let him force me to that sideline. So now, let's say I end up finishing this route in this straight line. Let's say I end up running right here. QB has space to the sideline to fade me open. But if we just try to run around this guy, he's going to squeeze me to that sideline. Even if I beat him by a step, that is still a very, very challenging throw for the QB at any level. So let's play this thing full speed. Then we will show a good example of how you want to close space, get skinny with the DB to give that quarterback an easier time on the throw. So now, this fade route right here, same scenario, right? We got inside leverage. You got about 2 to 3 yards off in this catch technique. So what this wide receiver does is he attacks his leverage to the inside, but he does a great job of getting skinny. Now, could he have attacked the leverage a little bit more? I think so, and you guys could see for yourselves. So let's play this full speed. So he comes off, gives kind of a move, but right there is what I'm trying to focus on, fellas. You guys need to give your QB space to throw you open. So you see how he's lined up here. He comes off the line. He gives a move to the inside, not the biggest move in the world. He probably could have closed the space a little bit more, sold the move, threatened to the inside a little bit more. But still, if we get that DB to hesitate, we have to make him pay for it. We have to make sure that we take advantage of this. So right off the line, we need to be getting back into his cushion, getting skinny, and we want to go hip to hip with him. Now, he kind of runs outside a little bit. Now, imagine if he would have kept going. If he would have kept going on this angle, that DB would have squeezed him all the way to the sideline, and it would have been a broken up play. But because he was able to stay low, because he dips the shoulder, because he gets back into the cushion of this DB, he's able to get back to the numbers. So now when he's on the numbers, that QB can fade him back out. QBs are taught to throw this fade ball between the numbers and the sideline. So that's where we want to make sure we are doing. When you're running that fade route, when you're running any kind of route that's deep outside breaking, we got to give the QB space to throw me open. If I'm running a 10-yard out, I need to be exactly right here because now the QB has space to lead me. If I'm running a comeback, I need to be right here because now the QB has space to throw me open. Same thing with the fade, fellas. That is textbook on how you guys want to run that fade. So, fellas, make sure. One thing that you can learn from this, one piece of advice that you need to know is do not try to run away from the leverage of a DB. Let's attack him, close the space, make him uncomfortable. So when I get up into my route, I can stay tight and give my QB an easier time with the throw. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver getting skinny. Release could have definitely been a little bit better, but give that QB space to throw you open. That is an easy money throw for any quarterback at any level. All right, so now, next clip here is that I know we get a lot of questions about over-the-shoulder catches. So, Coach, how can I get better when it's over the shoulder? How can I get better at catching, deep throws downfield? And the one piece of advice I can give you is when you got a DB who's right on your hip, make sure your hands are late. So what do I mean by late hands? And this clip is exactly what I mean by late hands. So this ball's thrown over the top. This wide receiver at the last possible second shoots his hands. Now, I'm not even saying that you have to be that late with them, but let's talk about why he's doing this. Because when that ball is thrown and you're running with a DB and he's right on your hip, is he supposed to be looking back for the ball? No. He might look back when he thinks the ball is coming, but who lets him know that the ball is coming? We do. So if we don't give him any kind of indicator that the ball is coming, and I can just focus on tracking that ball with my eyes, being late with my hands, he has no time to react. He is going to try to play your hands. So if we are late with the hands, he has no shot. He has no chance to play him. So when that ball is coming, you see how this wide receiver keeps that arm drive till the last second. He's not showing his hands. He's not raising his hands up super early, letting this DB know the ball is coming. He is waiting till the last second, and he tracks it with his eyes to the hands. That is what you guys need to be repping in practice when you're going routes versus air, when you're just working out with a QB. I would just literally, honest to God, stand with your back turned to a quarterback, have him throw the ball, just stationary target, and try to just track it with your eyes and be as late as possible. Because in a game, you can't think about this. It's got to be a reaction. Now, people get me wrong sometimes if they think that I'm saying all this should be going through your mind during a game. That ain't the truth, fellas. You can't think about all this stuff during a game because you're going to be freaking playing slow. You got to make sure that you're repping it constantly in the offseason, working it, trying to get better at these things, engraving it into your mind so it's a habit. So this kind of catch right here, this has got to be a habit. I'll have this with my receivers sometimes. What I'll do is I'll throw the ball up, and as soon as it starts to come down, I'll have them clap their hands twice behind their back, and they still have to track the ball and still have to make that catch. It's just another way to work on being late with those hands. But if you're late with those hands, fellas, your over-the-shoulder catch success rate will go way up. That DB, when you're here in this situation, especially if you're that high school guy trying to make that jump to college ball, youth guy trying to impress a high school coach, maybe it's your first year in high school, you got to make big plays. And this is how you finish those plays. You get a little bit of separation, just like those last two clips, but we got to finish. And finishing the play will keep you on that field, and being late with those hands is how we do it. Don't give that DB any time to react to that ball. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver practicing late hands and making that catch downfield. All right, so now we're going to talk about one key misconception that people think about leverage, right? So let's say, for example, smart DBs, like let's say you're lined up on like the bottom of the numbers or whatever it is, or maybe this DB's expecting an inside route. He's an off-man coverage. He's inside shade off-man coverage. So everybody against this type of coverage loves to talk about the stem. Oh, okay, if you got to run like a route, like a dig, a post, a curl, you want to stem him inside, attack his midline, try to get him to backpedal, then break off in front of him. Now, here's the thing about that, fellas. Same clip we talked about with Darrelle Revis in the very beginning. He's inside leverage. Just because he's not in press doesn't change what he is trying to do. He could be right up on the line. He could be 5 yards off. He could be 8 yards off. What is he trying to do with that leverage? Prevent the inside route. So if you guys stem him to the inside, what do you think he's probably going to be expecting? An inside route. You're attacking his leverage, so he's going to keep his leverage. He does not want to let you run the post. So we have to threaten him to his outside shoulder. So let's play this thing full speed. So Des Bryant's running this post. Does a great job of attacking the outside shoulder, then breaking this thing right off on a dime. Now, why would you do this? You got to keep spacing. So in the world of one-on-ones getting heavily publicized, everybody loves to post a cool clip of the guy breaking the DB's ankles, but more often than not, when guys will run like digs, posts, they'll be catching this damn ball on the other side of the field, on the other hash mark. That's not realistic, fellas. That's not spacing. Let's think of it like a play like this. Like, let's say you're running a post from the outside and the slot wide receiver's running a dig, and you get rerouted or you stem to the inside and you end up running your post all the way over here. screws up the entire play. One defender could play 2 routes. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to maintain the spacing that I have on this play and how it was drawn up, as it was drawn up like that for a reason. So your stem is what matters the most. So a DB's responsibility, like we said, is inside leverage. So you can get that thought out of your head when you have an inside breaking route that you're going to attack his leverage and square him up. Because if you square him up, he's going to do something we call a weave, where he just drifts to the inside, weaves to the inside, then guess what? You're going to run that post right into him. Now, different scenario, if you have to run an out route, a corner route, you maybe want to attack him. You'd want to stem him to the inside because guess what he's going to do? He's going to keep the leverage, then bam, I got all this space to operate outside. It's about giving yourself space and giving the QB space to throw you open. So what Dez does, attacks the outside shoulder. Perfect. Let's sell vertical. Let's make sure that I'm running hard, full stride, good pad level. Everything about this looks like he's just trying to run a fade or trying to run maybe like an out route, and that is what will get the DB to flip his hips. That is where his eyes are. His eyes looking at the body language. So if my hips and shoulders commit, I'm running hard, there comes a point where every DB has to honor that fade, but it comes down to how well am I going to sell this thing. And that's exactly what Bryant does. Sells this thing great, last second breaks this thing off, and now you see he's got plenty of space to run over the middle. He didn't stem inside and get his whole route jammed or rerouted off this thing because the DB kept his leverage. He was able to keep spacing, give the QB space to throw him open, and still win on the route by selling this fade. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. This is a great job by Dez Bryant showcasing how you guys need to attack leverage and how you guys should attack, well, maybe not attack leverage, it's not the best word, but how you guys should attack different off-man coverage looks. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys. And fellas, we got one more off-season training camp this year. We're coming out to Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on that next weekend, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.